Ladies and gentlemen, it's Thursday. It's day one of Sweet 16, and we have ourselves 4 games tonight. One of the things I don't like about March Madness are the late games. I don't like it because I'm a person that goes to bed early, so I don't like it. Um, but Avery, let's get started. The first one, number 6 Clemson versus number 2 Arizona. This is gonna be an intriguing matchup. I have Arizona winning this game by at least 9 points. Take it from there.
It's interesting. I see this as probably one of the most interesting matchups of the four today. You have Clemson at number 6. They are actually the highest seed that's playing today against Arizona. Arizona is not going to give Clemson any key points or ways to kind of stay in the game. Arizona is going to try and stay real strong out from the opening tip. Clemson is going to play a very physical game, I believe. They had to kind of crawl through the second round, but now that they're at the Sweet 16, they have a lot going for them. They have some momentum. What they can't do is make a lot of mistakes. They can't have unnecessary fouls. They have to be very conservative, I think, from the three-point line. They really need to stick with their rebounds and not make a lot of turnovers. I do want to go for Clemson on this one. I really, really do. But I'm gonna have to agree with you. I think Arizona is gonna take it, but I think Arizona is just gonna come really close to winning this game. But I'm gonna go with Arizona by 2.
Too shabby, not too shabby. But yeah, I have a feeling it's gonna come down to less double digits, so that's why I went with 9. But hopefully it's a good one, because there's nothing worse than watching a lopsided tournament game. So the same thing goes with college football, which I can't wait for August, September, so we could do college football 10 with Avery Miguel. And this time, shirts will be coming, so we're gonna have some merchandise for that. It's about time. The next up, this one, I really want for this to happen. I really want this. I really want this to happen, and that's number 5 seed San Diego State versus number 1 UConn. If the basketball guys are listening, I hope that San Diego gets their revenge on UConn. UConn is looking way too good right now, but I still have faith that the San Diego State team can pull off an upset. So I'm gonna go with a lot of positivity, and I'm picking San Diego to win by 4.
That's a daring prediction, Miguel, and I agree with you. San Diego State was probably eyeing their bracket. They saw that they had the potential to possibly play UConn, and Coach Hurley has got his team locked in. They are the absolute juggernauts right now. Not only being the number 1 seed, but they dominated their conference tournament. And I really want this too. There's nothing like having 2 teams that have a little bit of history to play again, especially when it comes to a tournament. So, as much as I really want San Diego to pull this out too, but I think Connecticut's gonna take this. But I think San Diego's gonna give them a run for their money. I think San Diego's probably gonna be the best test for UConn at this point, because right now I believe UConn has won all their games by at least 15 points. So I think UConn's going to be a good test for them to reach, to possibly reach, the Elite 8, Final Four, and possibly the championship game. But I'm going to go with Connecticut on this one, but it's gonna be a small margin too. They have Connecticut winning by 11. But I'm going to go that Connecticut's going to win by 5. I'm going to say that the Aztecs are just going to keep it close until the very end. I think the Aztecs are probably a really, really good team right now. They've done very well in their tournament games so far, but I think they're going to keep it as close as they can, and Connecticut's just going to edge them out. But of the four, this is the one where you want the underdog to win. This is the one where there's history there. So this is going to be a great matchup of the four, but it's still interesting that you still have, playmakers saying that Connecticut is the overwhelming favorite. They have Connecticut at like 86%. So I'm going to give it to Connecticut, but just by a small margin. I'm going to say 5.
What's interesting about this is that no one, and I mean no one, is giving the Aztecs any chance in this game. Everybody thinks that they're just going to get steamrolled. So just with that, that should just continue to fuel them. They say, oh, right, is this how it's going to be? We have something to prove. So San Diego State, their backs up against the wall. They have a chip on their shoulder. Both teams are well coached. That's why this is an intriguing matchup. But again, I'm really hoping for San Diego to pull off this upset. And it can happen. It might look improbable, but it's not impossible. So going to matchup number 3, and this is another good one. Number 4, Alabama versus number 1, UNC. That game will be played at 9:39. Again, I hated that is that late, but my UNC. You already know where I'm going with this, so yeah. I gotta roll with UNC on this one. But I'm picking them to win by at least 6 points against Alabama.
It's interesting. Of the 4 matchups today, this is possibly the most evenly matched game. Also, probably it could be the highest scoring game of the day. ESPN is giving just a slight edge to North Carolina at 50.3%, and you have Alabama at 49.7%. You have people literally going either way on this game. And the interesting thing is, when you see the matchup, for some reason, we're already thinking football. This is a matchup you want to see, in the autumn, in September or October, but we're seeing it in March. And Alabama, is kind of like the quiet team. You have some of these quiet teams that have made it to the Sweet 16. Alabama at number 4, is like, oh, Alabama's in the Sweet 16. It's not a surprise, but then people like, oh, Alabama has a really good basketball program, which they do. So they also have this total matchup being at 173 points. So you're saying that, both these teams are gonna get into nearly the 90s, which, believe it or not, their past 2 games, they have scored at least 90 points. But I agree with you. This could be a really, really close game. As much of a Duke fan I am, I'm going to stick with the ACC on this one. So I am going to go with the Tar Heels, but I'm going to go with a little bit of a smaller margin. I think Alabama's going to stay with it, knowing that they got this far, and kind of, in a way, they kind of just like, hello, hey, we're in the tournament too. I'm going to go with the Tar Heels by 4.
All right, last but not least, we have Iowa State, Illinois. Out of the 4 matchups, no disrespect, I feel like this is the least one that people be like, it is what it is. I'm going with, I might go with Illinois on this one to get this win. This is the latest game, which is at 10:09. So I didn't get a chance to look into further detail into this matchup, but I'm gonna go with Illinois on that one.
Yeah, I agree with you too. This is the matchup where people are looking like, oh, there's no history, there's no where are the backstories on this one. These are just really 2 good teams that have played really good basketball their entire season. Illinois has done very well throughout the season. They did marginally well in their conference. Iowa State, again, kind of slid in a little bit as far as being a top seed, but they're still taking care of business. So again, another evenly matched game. Analytics at ESPN, they're saying Iowa State at 58.1%, while you have Illinois at 41.9%. But don't count either of these teams out, because like anything, if you're not paying attention to a team, then all of a sudden you're playing them and all of a sudden you're being beaten by them. So for this one, I'm going to agree with you. I think Illinois has had the more stronger and disciplined play as they've gone into the Sweet 16. Their arch rivals, if I may, are Purdue. So they're looking to possibly, have a little bit of Big Ten revenge, if you will, for the future. But I'm going to go with Illinois on this one, and I'm going to go with Illinois by 5. I think the game is going to be very close. I think it'll be a bit back and forth, but I think Illinois probably at the beginning of the second half is going to go on a really decent run, and then Iowa State is just going to be trying to catch up. But I'm going to go with Illinois on this one.
All right, guys. That does it. Sweet 16 tonight. These 4 games. We're looking forward to it. For those of you who are subscribed, following the MMM Journal, I have a Sports Throwback Thursday content that will be premiering at 7. And I'm gonna give it away. It's about the 2006 Sweet 16 matchup between Gonzaga and UCLA. That was a crazy, crazy ending. So no, it's not the game that you'll be seeing on that channel. It's just, giving my reaction to that game. Because it's Sweet 16 day, I decided to put out a Sports Throwback Thursday of a classic Sweet 16 game. So, and you see some future NBA players there playing in that game. But boy, oh boy, that was a crazy finish, So check that out at 7 p.m., followed by this content of Talking March Madness, which will be at 7:30 with myself and Avery. Avery, thank you so much once again, and hopefully we're not disappointed.
I agree, Miguel. We're just in day 1 of Sweet 16, and we have 4 really great games. Some look really good on paper. Some you're like, not so sure if I want to tune in, the whole evening. But it's interesting because you have some really good college basketball starting today, and we also have baseball season starting today too. So we can start. So, getting into March Madness, we're heading into college basketball, tournament championship play, starting baseball season. We have a lot to watch, in the next few days. So this is going to be great. And I look for these 4 games to be not only intriguing, but entertaining, but also it really just goes to show how March Madness impacts college basketball to the fullest.